All right. Hello, everyone. I'm here at the New Hampshire Supreme Court, which is located at 1 Charles Doe Drive in Concord. And we're meeting the clerk of the court, Tim Gudas. Tim, hello.
Good afternoon, Dina. How are you?
How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Thank you for meeting with me.
My pleasure.
Mr. Gudas, can you tell us where we are right now?
Sure. We are in the courtroom of the New Hampshire Supreme Court, which, as you mentioned, is on 1 Charles Doe Drive in Concord, the state capital.
And what's your role here?
My role is clerk of the court, and my job function is to help the court manage its caseload and move toward decision all the appeals that get filed here. We receive approximately 750 appeals each year, and those appeals come from the various state trial courts in New Hampshire. We receive appeals in civil cases, appeals in criminal cases, and appeals in family and administrative cases, among others.
So actually now might be a good time to briefly describe the difference between an appeal and a trial. What is an appeal?
Sure, an appeal is it's a legal challenge to the decision of a trial court. Trial courts largely function to decide issues of fact. Two sides have a different version of what happened, and the trial courts are there to decide what happened and who's responsible. Those are largely factual disputes that are presented often to a jury through witnesses. Those may be the types of courtroom proceedings that most of you are familiar with from having watched TV. A party who is disappointed or dissatisfied with the outcome in a trial can file an appeal to this court contending that there were errors of law that affected the decision by the trial court. So this court does not give somebody a brand new trial. We do not retry or rehear the facts. Instead, this court decides issues of law. And as you look around this courtroom, you'll see, for example, there is no witness box. So there are no witnesses in Supreme Court proceedings. There's also no jury box because there are no jurors in the Supreme Court. Instead, we have a panel of justices. Typically, there are 5 justices who sit on the Supreme Court. Right now, we only have 4 justices on the court. Those justices hear the case all together, not one by one, but all together. And they talk about the case after arguments are presented by the attorneys in this courtroom, and then the justices try to collectively come to a decision on the appeal.
And then they write a decision.
Yes, they do. Again, to contrast that with a trial, there's no jury announcement of a verdict. Instead, the justices write their decision in the form of an opinion. That's a written opinion setting forth the legal reasons for the Supreme Court's decision.
Well, normally there are 5 justices, and there are normally 9 justices on the Supreme Court. What is the reason why courts generally have an odd number of judges?
Sure, that's a good question. As I mentioned, they operate together as a group of justices, but they don't always agree with each other. And when an appeal is brought to an appeals court, there's one decision, and appellate courts are structured to have an odd number an odd number of justices to avoid a tie. So that's why most appellate courts operate in groups of 3, 5, 7, or 9, so that you can have a clear, or at least a clear numerical winner for the appeal.
Mm-hmm. And I think that if the judges are evenly divided, the lower court decision stands. Is that correct?
That is typically the outcome, yes. There actually is a procedure here as well. We have only 4 justices who are sitting members of the Supreme Court. There is a procedure for this court to bring in retired trial court judges to give us a 5th justice on a particular case, which would then allow the court to decide the case 3-2, rather than have it 2-2 with tie going to the winner.
Mm-hmm. Good. Well, let's take a little walk around the court so that the students can see what we have there. I noticed there are paintings all around the courtroom, and who are these paintings of?
Okay, the paintings in this courtroom are of former Chief Justices of the New Hampshire Supreme Court. We've been talking about how the court normally has 5 justices. That is, in normal times, 1 justice who is the Chief Justice, and then 4 associate justices. The one you're looking at right now is our most recent Chief Justice, Robert J. Lynn. He actually served as a trial court judge for a number of years before coming here. He was then an associate